Hey, it's Quadix here. I'm here with What If Naruto Wasn't Dumb. Get this to 500 likes and I'll upload the next part. Check out my other quality what ifs. The links to playlists of all the what ifs I've done will be in the description. Check out the community tab. I use that for polls to select what videos I do and more. Please like, comment, queue as much as you would like, or any other comments you may have, like what if suggestions and more. I read and respond to all comments. I'm surprised there wasn't a like in that sentence. Make sure you're subscribed. If not, hit that subscribe button. Check out my Instagram. The link to that will be in the description. Feel free to DM me. I respond to all DMs. Now that whole thing is out of the way, roll the intro. You had quite a fight, he remarked, looking faintly amused. Naruto shot a blank look at him. Just how long did you sleep in a single stretch anyway? Kurama gave a graceful shrug as he settled his head on his hands, eyes gazing peacefully at the moon. Depends. You handled your first actual fight quite well, he commented. Naruto raised his eyebrows, unimpressed. You were impressed with my fights with the demon brothers? Kurama returned his own unimpressed stare. I don't mean those weaklings. I meant Zabuza. You kept your mind calm, analyzed the situation, figured the best way to escape and a way to attack your enemy. Nice touch with the Horizon, by the way. Gives you a way to track him now, he said, grinning at the end. Naruto smirked. Thanks, it means a lot. Kurama sat up a little. I saw that you had some trouble with the two new jutsu. Naruto gave a grunt. The fox glanced at him. If you want, I can give you advice on how to master them quickly. He got the desired response as Naruto sat up, curiosity almost burning in his eyes. Really? Thank you so much, Kurama. He smiled, his big blue eyes shining a bit. Kurama made a disgusted face. Keep your sappiness to yourself, you brat. Naruto laughed. Sorry, I couldn't resist. He didn't look sorry at all. After he was finished laughing, he gave Kurama his full attention. Kurama began his explanation. Your futon jutsu is only a bit tough if you look at it closely. You're simply overthinking it. What you should do is when you gather the air inside you, gather it in a way that is spinning and compressed. That way you can control its explosive effects and power. It should be fast enough to catch someone off guard, so build up a lot of pressure simultaneously when you create the air ball by creating a bit of vacuum. Use that pressure to give explosive speed to the ball. Naruto nodded, having made sense of the entire explanation. He would try that tomorrow, and hopefully prevent a Sasuke tantrum. If he saw what Naruto was practicing, he would throw a fit. Kurama continued. Your Suton Jutsu isn't hard as you think. Think of it this way. If you have a pipeline with water blowing out of it onto a wall, you would only get a wet wall. But if the pipeline's opening was made into a whole lot smaller, he left it to Naruto to finish his line of thinking, and he wasn't disappointed. Then the pressure would considerably be high in speeds if it were kept the same. The high pressure would make the water sharp enough to cut through rocks. You're brilliant, Kurama, he exclaimed with wide eyes. Kurama looked considerably smug. Of course I am. The jutsu of humans are laughable, easy to us demons. There are only a few of them we can't do. Naruto shook his head, smiling softly. Kurama was entirely too proud of himself, but Naruto bit his lip, not wanting to offend the demon by pointing out that he got sealed for a total of 3 times. Alright, Kurama, thanks for your tips. I'll master them in no time. He flashed a monstrous grin, which was returned by the demon in front of him. With that, he finally entered REM sleep. I have no idea what that is. By the way, I hope you guys like the new mic. I like it. Naruto's eyes opened at his regular time of 5. but he stayed in bed, thinking things over. He suspected that Kakashi might know about his use of Hiraishin against Zabuza. He hadn't exactly hidden himself with smoke bombs after all, and Zabuza might have been surprised by his trick, but Kakashi had already seen it in the bell test, even though it was Kaburami, but this time Kakashi had seen it with his own eyes. With him watching with the Sharingan, there was no way he would dismiss it as a simple replacement. He heavily sighed. He was not looking forward to the talk. There was so much to explain. Realizing his thoughts were leading him into nothing but distress, he got up, hoping to get some morning air, keeping his steps quiet so as not to disturb Kakashi and Sasuke. He dressed up and headed outside, hoping to put Kurama's theories to test. He got outside, getting some relief from the slight chill of the morning. He allowed his senses to spread, and a tiny frown made its way onto his face when he sensed someone making their way from behind him. Noiseless steps, probably hoping to catch him off guard. "I didn't know you were awake, Kakashi-sensei." "Well, I wasn't until I heard you move out." He came up beside him, eyes scrunched up in a smile. Naruto returned a small smile. The two of them sat in silence for a while, lost in their own thoughts. Kakashi finally broke the silence with a question. "What jutsu was that on the bridge, Naruto?" Even though he had prepared for the question to be asked, Naruto was still caught off guard. Kakashi noticed the minute flinch that Naruto couldn't hide, accompanied by a slightly fearful glint in his eyes. Realizing he had probably scared the boy, he backtracked. "I was just curious, Naruto. It was something like what you tried in the bell test." He trailed off, silently asking Naruto to elaborate. Naruto hated when Kakashi got like this, demanding answers from him. And the worst thing was that Naruto had no reason to hide anything from him. Steeling himself, he looked into Kakashi's single visible eye. "Before I say anything, Kakashi-sensei, can you promise me that you'll keep this to yourself and only yourself?" Kakashi looked surprised by this request. He didn't show it though. He wondered just what Naruto was hiding that was so important. As to not tell his team members. He was also requesting total secrecy, but Kakashi drew the line there. He narrowed his eyes. "If Hokage-sama asks me, then it's my duty to tell him, Naruto." Naruto relaxed a bit at that. The old man already knows of this. Kakashi too relaxed at that. Keeping secrets from his leader, then having the said leader interrogate you was not fun at all. "So you will show me?" The slight hope in his voice made Naruto smile, if only a little. Naruto gestured to his hands, where his sleeve was folded, exposing his wrist before the metal-plated gloves. Kakashi shrugged, offering his wrist. "Sure." Naruto wrapped his hand around Kakashi's wrist for a moment, then let go, turning back to watch the sunrise. Kakashi examined his wrist curiously, wanting to find out just what Naruto did. His eyes widened and he almost choked on his spit upon seeing a seal formula that looked remarkably similar to what his sensei used. His neck snapped towards Naruto, who was looking back at him with a smirk. Is this?" "Yup, sure it is," Naruto exclaimed proudly. "But unlike his, the flash is blue, since my chakra is a deep blue, you know?" Kakashi tried to recover from the surprise that Naruto had figured out the technique that made the Yondaime the most feared shinobi across all the lands. Trying to keep his voice steady, he asked, Can you demonstrate?" Naruto frowned but nodded. He flash stepped to a tree about 100 meters away, missing Kakashi's look of surprise at the use. Without wasting any time, he flashed behind Kakashi, the joning neck turning so fast, Naruto swore he heard a crack. Kakashi's mind was blown out of proportion when he saw the blue flash of Naruto's Hiraishin. The fact that Naruto had mastered one of the most complex techniques he had ever seen, hell, even his sensei had ever seen, was nothing short of stupefying. He recovered and looked at Naruto, who was watching him carefully. I can see why you want to keep this a secret. Sasuke would throw a fit if he saw you using something like that," Kakashi admitted. He could already imagine the scene. Naruto hummed, not at all bothered. He will keep it a secret until the Chunin exams. And if Sasuke finds out before that, it's not like he could do anything. Sasuke threw all the tantrum he wants. He would never be able to learn the Flying Thunder God, ever. It's not like Sasuke can do anything. The amount of understanding of Funjutsu, chakra theory, along with the dimension of space-time was just unreal. He won't be able to make it beyond just level 7 on Funjutsu. Also, space-time is very rarely studied branch of ninjutsu and Funjutsu. I very much doubt that the Uchiha library has any research materials related to that. I was lucky my father had done his research so thoroughly, he shrugged. Kakashi nodded. He would hate to see when, even though it was inherently and incredibly selfish of him, his sensei's legacy fall into someone else's hand other than his son. He got up, using the crutches Tazuna was able to find him last night. Come on, let's go get some breakfast. They arrived inside to find Sasuke and Sakura already at the table, surprise in their eyes when they saw Naruto and Kakashi entering together. Sasuke narrowed his eyes in suspicion but thankfully kept silent. So, dang it! No, I promise. I read all the comments telling me how to pronounce her name, but that was like before I took the break, and this is my first video back. I'm just gonna keep calling her Tsunami until I'm corrected again in the comment sections. And I'm taking a sip of this water that is slightly cold. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Let's continue. Tsunami. Dang it. No, let me know. I promise I'll remember this time. Tsunami was mildly surprised. I was just coming to see if you two were out there, Kakashi-san, Naruto-kun. Kakashi smiled. We're not doing the whole you can't say Naruto-kun. Okay, I'm not doing that again. I'm not, okay? You guys can mature up. Kakashi smiled. We were just enjoying the morning air outside, Tsunami-san. It's quite peaceful. Tsunami smiled and gestured to the table. Please sit. Breakfast is ready. After everyone's breakfast was over, Kakashi took his squad outside into the forest to train. Okay, training will begin now. You will learn chakra control exercises so you don't waste chakra in excess filing while performing jutsus. This exercise is one of the basics, so you have to master it no matter what. He observed the reactions closely. Sasuke had a predictably disappointed expression on his face. He was hoping that Kakashi would teach them more powerful jutsus, but he conceded the fact that basics were important to master. There was undeniably a small amount of curiosity on his face. Sakura was also curious, but she was more confused than she was disappointed. She didn't exactly know what Kakashi Sensei was trying to teach them, so she just waited until he explained. Naruto, well, he looked supremely bored of Kakashi. The one-eyed Cyclops found his right eye twitching at the distinctly on his... I don't think that's how that's spelled. But anyways, an impressed look Naruto was giving him. Sasuke was looking faintly amused at the looks Naruto was sending to Kakashi. You're gonna teach us tree walking, aren't you? The deadpan in his voice was unmistakable. Kakashi's sweat dropped. This could be trouble. Naruto already knows how to walk on vertical surfaces. I could get him started on water walking, but then Sasuke and Sakura might get the impression that I'm favoring Naruto, he thought as he tried to figure a way out. But Naruto and Sasuke were starting to get impatient. Naruto spoke up. I already know tree walking, sensei. This revelation caused Sakura and Sasuke to stare at him, one with confusion and the other with a twinge of jealousy. Kakashi mentally sighed. No use hiding it now. And before you ask, I know water walking as well. Remember where I was standing after pushing Zabuza back? Kakashi's memory was jolted as he suddenly remembered jumping in between Naruto, who had his kunai out coated in wind chakra, and Zabuza, who was just a moment away from beheading his student. Naruto was standing on water. Is he deliberately making this worse for me? Kakashi thought. Sasuke walked up to Naruto with a scowl on his face. When did you learn all of this? Naruto raised an eyebrow at him. What will you do if I tell you? Fortunately for Naruto, Sasuke didn't have an answer for this question, and with a deeper scowl than before, walked back to his place. Kakashi, to avoid any further trouble, immediately explained the exercise. What do you have to do, he said while walking up a tree, is to direct your chakra to the soles of your feet. He put one foot after another onto the bark and stick to the surface. He was now walking perpendicular to the ground until he turned onto a branch and looked up or down to them. I don't know why I had so much saliva in my mouth there for a second. I could barely talk. Sakura looked up at him with awe in her eyes, while she looked at him with narrowed eyes, probably thinking about how this will make him stronger. Naruto mused. Kakashi threw 2 kunai in front of Sasuke and Sakura. Get to it then. As Sakura and Sasuke picked up the kunai and walked away to a tree, Kakashi slowly walked down to Naruto, who was simply looking at him. What do you plan on doing? Naruto said, I'm currently working on 2 jutsus that I took from the Shinobi library. I'm planning on mastering them before tomorrow night. Kakashi rose an eyebrow. Nobody can master 2 elemental jutsu in a span of a day, you know? Naruto shrugged. This nobody that you speak of can't use shadow clones like I can, sensei. Kakashi's visible eye widened. You know the secret of Kage Bunshin? Naruto smirked. Figured it out a long time ago, sensei. Now, if you don't mind, I'll be training. Try to keep Sasuke away from me if you can. With that, he flash-stepped away, leaving a gaping Kakashi. If you guys didn't know, I have a what if that's based on what if Naruto learned the secret of the shadow clone earlier. I posted 2 parts of it. It's like 40 minutes or more. No, it's like 50 minutes when you put them together. Go check that out. And that's where I'm gonna be ending it, guys. I'll be pre-recording a bunch of parts so you guys get daily videos. Make sure you hit that like button, man. I would really appreciate 500 likes before I upload the next part. And I hope you enjoy this. I'll see you in the next part. Bye.
Wanted a bitch who was on the move, but you want a goddamn late. Got that one in my bed and she just wanna sleep. Fucking up all of the sheets. She only wake up to eat. Do this shit every week. Like why you do that? Crying you wanna be great, but sleeping until the next day. Why you do that? Got that much in the bank. We go out, she order the steak.